Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Was that Monday Night Football? Is that what that was?
I think
that was Monday Night Football.
Wah-pa-pa-pa.
Yeah, that's definitely Monday Night
Talking
Football.
about that football today.
Well,
what do you think about the games coming up this Sunday?
what games? Oh, football. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
The
there's
football
no games.
games.
Actually, preseason starting soon. So I met a guy from St. Paul, Minnesota,
Oh, yeah?
and I told him that my buddy used to work at, and I said it wrong, and he instantly corrected me because I
Yeah.
called it St. Shattuck Mary's,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he said, no, it's
Shattuck
Shattuck
St.
St.
Mary's.
Mary's, and
Yeah.
I used to play them in high school in hockey.
Oh, yeah?
And he said, and they would drop us like 20-0. It was
Yeah.
disgusting. He's
Yeah.
like, we weren't in like the same league.
They
but
dropped everybody 20-0.
But we would like like scrimmage them, he said, you know?
They were probably like the Minnesota Elite or something like that.
He went to some school south of there. Can't remember exactly what the school was. We were both
I don't know.
having beverages. But he owns a brewery in St. Paul. And I was gonna bring the beer, but then I had a hangover and I was like, we shouldn't do that. Oh geez. I gotta shout him out because the beer was awesome.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what beer would it.
Oh, what do we got going on? So, okay, it is Black Stack.
Black Stack. Never had that.
Black Stack Brewing.
Black Stack Brewing. All right. So if you are in St. Paul, and I know we've got people who are,
it's a cool looking place, man.
Maybe check out Black Stack Brewing and let us know what you think.
He flew from just see like how big it is. He flew from Minnesota to come to Tin Barn.
No shit.
Because he met the guy from Tin Barn at some like brewers convention, and he flew there and had his beer up there for just like taste, or you could buy or stuff. It was pretty cool.
That's a cool thing to do,
and it's cool to meet somebody that knew the school you.
Yeah. Oh, anybody out there is gonna know it, and especially anybody who's ever played hockey, or really like knows about hockey, watches NHL regularly, like they've all heard of it. The Olympics. If you ever watch Olympic hockey, there's always at least 4 or 5 alumni that are on, between the different Olympic teams.
I always thought you maybe amped it up a little bit, but the fact that he instantly corrected me on the name,
yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, he must have been pretty good at that because that's like the best." Hey, do you know Marlon Brando went there? I go,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
and he goes, I go, did he play hockey? He goes, no, it was a military school.
Yeah,
and I go, oh,
it was
okay.
it was a military school.
Yeah,
they did have.
This guy had like all the facts, like he knows it. I'm like,
they still had like theater stuff back then.
Okay.
So he was in the theater program as well. And there's a spot in like back in the changing rooms up in the auditorium's really neat, but back in the changing rooms for the auditorium, there's a spot where he like carved his name in the wall.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got kicked out.
Oh, he didn't. We didn't get that far into
Marlon Brando got kicked out of Shattuck St. Mary's because he stole the clapper. He was apparently getting into all sorts of trouble, but then he stole the clapper out of the bell and hid it.
Oh God! I
don't know if he buried it or what the hell he did with it, but that was the last straw, and he was sent packing.
Sent packing.
Towns Van Zandt as well. If you're into music, Towns Van Zandt learned how to play guitar in the dorms.
Wow!
And he'd go around from room to room just playing his guitar. So kind of neat.
Wish you were there. You'd had a freaking blast talking to that guy because like he knew it all, and just tell me how he. The funniest part was him talking about scrimmaging and like how they thought they were good. And
how old is he? Is he older than me? Younger than me?
Probably, I think mid-30s. It's hard to say. Yeah.
I wonder if he played. I wonder if I met him.
Maybe. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Now he owns a brewery, and we didn't talk much about it other than just getting his ass kicked by him, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. Everybody got their ass kicked by him.
Said he played like, is it center wing, right wing, something? I don't know. One of the wing positions he's saying. Yeah. And he was like, he's like deacon doing all this cool stuff and just got like cleaned. And
you can't do that.
Yeah, like you can't pretend you're good there. Yeah.
Well, that's just not a good like it's that kind of stuff is a little bit showing off, but it's not It's not good hockey.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't even know what deking was.
You got
to
keep
explain
it.
to
You got to
me.
keep it simple. Like it's okay to have like a move.
Yeah.
But if you do 9 moves in a row, you're gonna get your ass put on the ice.
So are you telling me the Mighty Ducks weren't doing it right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, I am.
You're gonna say that.
Also, the Mighty Ducks. I don't know if I'm sure I told you before, but
we did it on the show. You showed the
third Mighty Ducks. Yeah,
all the stuff they went through.
They did at Shattuck St. Mary's.
But I'm just sad that you're gonna try to tell me the Mighty Ducks were too showy.
Too showy, yeah.
They won.
Hot dogs.
They won. So they're pretty good.
They won.
Oh God. Yeah. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought you'd think that was cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
God damn, it's hot out there.
It is.
I was outside most of the day yesterday,
mm-hmm.
and by like 4:00, my body was just ready to shut down. I was like sweating I peed like once all day, and I drank like a gallon and a half of water.
Jesus.
It was just oppressive. And I got at 3 a.m. my phone popped up with an alert that we've got a heat warning or heat advisory or something from like right now until 8:00 tomorrow. So hope you're in the AC or in the lake.
I think it's easy to see why people talk the difference between like moisture in the air, hot and dry heat, is like because you can like feel it really weighing down on you today. It's like heavy.
It is.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. It's actually somewhat cool because we're in a basement, but man, I still feel like I'm sweating a little bit.
Like yeah. There's a lot of moisture. I've never really understood that when people are like, oh, it's like there's dry heat,
the humidity,
and there's like humidity, and it's like, it's hot, right? And then, but today you can actually feel
the
like
humidity, the sun. There's actually so for sports, the measurement we use is not. We don't even use temperature. We use a measure that was developed for the Marine Corps, and that is the wet bulb globe temperature. And it combines the sun, the humidity, the wind, and the temperature all together. And it gives you an index. It's a little bit different than the heat index. And it's a lower number, which kind of throws people off because, like, you know, if it's a wet bulb globe of, 86, that's really hot. That's really hot. It's like hotter than just having, the temperature be 92 and it not be.
And you keep track of that because
to try to prevent heat illness.
So be more prepared for like hydration stuff. Is that?
Yeah. And sometimes it's limiting exposure as well. Like there's cutoffs. If it gets above this wet bulb globe temperature, then we do shorter practices. If it's above this, then we don't go outside at all.
Where were you in high school when we were doing doubles for football?
Well, and that's why there's a big push to try to get more athletic trainers into high schools, is because high schools are, we spend a lot of time talking about concussion, and I think it's really important.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about deaths in athletics, heat illness is like one of the top 2.
Yeah.
And concussion's not. Concussions are very important, but heat illness, and we do a lot to prevent it, like monitoring the temperature, monitoring hydration, limiting exposure, those things, and being prepared that in case somebody does start to have a heat illness episode, that we've got a cool place to remove them to. We've got this thing called and I found out that we were like early adopters of this because I went and met the people who invented it, and they're like, yeah, we've been around for 3 years. And I'm like, I think we bought it 3 years ago.
Wow.
And it's called a polar life pod. And it's a really neat little thing. It's basically like it's like a vinyl body bag with a hole in it and with a little place for your head to stick out. And you put the person in it, and you have to use a rectal thermometer to be able to. Yeah, that's the only accurate way. So use a rectal thermometer and you run it through that little hole.
Yeah.
And sorry. And their head, you zip them up, you dump in like 4 coolers of ice water, and then you zip them up inside of it and agitate it. Well, it is freezing.
Oh man.
But it's saving their life.
Yeah.
And it's saving them from organ damage. One of the biggest reasons that people end up with organ damage from heat illness is because they aren't treated properly, because everybody thinks that you need to just get them to the hospital as fast as you can, right? Well, getting them to the hospital as fast as you can actually be dangerous in this scenario, and this is one of the few where getting them to the hospital and prioritizing that can be a problem, especially in our setting where we can be prepared with something to treat them on site. And the reason is that if you don't cool them immediately before you transport them, it lets their organs stay hot longer, so they can start to get liver damage, spleen, like all their internal organs start to get cooked from the heat. And that extra 15 minutes that you're transporting them and not treating them by cooling them down, that's 15 minutes longer that they're cooking on the inside and causing organ damage. And then when you get them to the hospital, have you ever seen a tub of ice water at the hospital?
No.
Right. So they're putting in like cold IVs and things like that to try to cool the person down, but it's not as efficient. I mean, it's good, but the best thing is just as soon as possible to get them in a cold water immersion.
See, I think in school they I can't remember if it was football, soccer. I thought they put a kid right in the showers and got him in ice cold water. Just turned it on cold and had him in the shower, trying to get him to cool off. I don't think he was in danger.
Right.
I think sometimes kids, they don't truly know. Like,
kids can heat up.
I think the problem with kids is some kids overreact and underreact, and I think that's where you run into the issue. Like, some kids, it's okay, true, and they're not okay, and there's some kids that were okay and you just didn't want to do it. But the biggest problem with sports, especially like lacrosse, football, any of these combat sports where you're hitting each other, like, there's this ego where people don't want to say they're hurt or not feeling well, and I think that's when it really comes through. So
yes. Yeah, there's that. There's like they're trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just the high ego sports. I'm sure soccer has some too. I've never played it, but just the ego with these other guys are insane.
Think every sport there's people that want to be tough guys, and there's people who go the other way, where like if anything's off by a little bit, they're like, oh no, something's wrong.
So let's talk about hockey. There's no overheating in hockey, right? It's pretty cold in there usually, right?
It's not common, but it can happen.
Really?
I've never seen it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this weather to get heat illness. You can get heat illness without it being blazing hot.
Really?
Because you're producing heat
just from working that
with
hard?
Your body, right?
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
There's other things that are I mean, there's other things that are more likely to happen, like rhabdomyolysis is one of them that you've probably heard of. Like, you've probably heard of rhabdo. So like people who do rhabdo has actually become more common recently with I believe, I don't know the stats, but I believe more common recently with like CrossFit, because when you do kind of more extreme exercise, what rhabdo is basically like if your muscles tear open the cells, like not your whole muscle ripping, but like the cells can kind of spill their contents if they've been overworked, and that like causes this whole sequence of events where like the parts that are in your cells, in your muscle cells, get into your bloodstream, and then your kidneys are trying to filter out. You can get like serious kidney damage, all sorts of stuff if you're doing extreme exercise, harder workouts than you're used to, especially in the heat. And then if you go to the bathroom and it's like not the right color,
drink more
and
water,
you're not feeling good, go to the hospital like right away. Like if it's like coming out brown, if you're peeing brown, go to the hospital.
Bodybuilders must run into that rhabdo
It happens stuff. Yeah, bodybuilders, CrossFitters, football players. Like, it's people who do a workout that's a lot harder than they're used to. And it's usually really fit guys. Like, the guys that I know that have, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but the guys that I know that have had it, I know a couple guys that have had it, and they're just super fit guys that were just pushing
too much. Jeez, crazy. Rhabdo.
It's also, that's another big one in the military, during basic training and things like that, when they're really pushing.
Yeah.
That's a big danger.
Crazy, man.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, Rhabdo.
And speaking of military, I don't know if we got any of our military audience watching, but today is National Purple Heart Day, right?
Yes.
Is that what it?
I think the county's doing it for a week.
Is it? They're gonna do it for a week.
I think it's a week.
So just honoring the men and women who have been wounded or otherwise and received the Purple Heart. So it's National Purple Heart Day. So thank you to everybody who's served and everybody who's,
Oh, the Purple Heart
paid the price,
the ultimate medal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. When at the legislature they explained it, it's anyone that was wounded during battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. So thanks to those folks, and I just wanted to mention that the County Veteran Services is looking for volunteers. So I don't have all the information on it, but I saw a note come out that they were trying to get more volunteers to help with transporting veterans with disabilities to their doctor appointments. So if you're looking for something to help, if you want to be able to help some folks who've helped us in our community, you're looking, even if you just want to commit, one day a month or something like that, get in contact with the Yates County Veteran Services and let them know that you want to help out with transporting some veterans to their doctor's appointments, because it's a big need in our community right now.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. I wonder where most people, when they think of it, you're not dealing with I think some people have the stigma that you might be dealing with people that maybe these are all decent guys, and that you're dealing with veterans when you're driving them. They have good conversations. Listen to what the guy talks about that drives them. I forget it's George, right? George Rhodes
is he? What are you getting at?
He's the one that's running the thing for the county, right?
I think it's Phil. Is it
Phil?
I think it's Phil Ruin.
Phil Ruin, sorry. I got him mixed up there. Yeah, but they tell some stories about this stuff, and it's pretty cool. So about some of the drives and listening to stories and hanging out with the guys in the car. So
I mean, it could be both of those guys.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly who
I saw
who heads up the program for the county now.
Let me see if I can find really quick the actual note from Veteran Services, so that we can show.
Phil is he's the head of Veteran Services.
Yes.
Yeah.
They might both be involved. There might be more people involved.
Yeah.
But let me see if I can find. I thought I saw a flyer. I don't want to give any wrong info. Here we go. All right.
Volunteers needed.
So volunteers needed, Yates County Veteran Services. If you are interested, here's what you can do. They need help with the Veteran Transportation Program. Yates County Veteran Services Office has an urgent for new drivers to drive disabled veterans from our region to their medical appointments. If you can donate 1 or 2 days a month to provide transportation to one of our hometown heroes, please contact the Veteran Services Office. The ability to access medical appointments is critical to maintaining the best possible quality of life for our local veterans. For those who don't have someone who can transport them to appointments, this service can become a literal lifeline by ensuring our veterans see their physicians and get their treatments they require. And if you want to help, you can call them at 315-536-5196 or email veterans@yatescounty.org.
Nice, Phil.
And I am just going to, let's see, I'm going to put that on the screen. Oh, maybe. Show. Bam. Boom. All right. So can I edit that? So anyway, so if you're interested, that's not us. I don't want people to think I'm
part of the veterans at Yates County.
Let's see. Call. All right, here we go.
Fast at typing, man.
Oh, I'm a typer.
Holy shit!
All right, how do I? Okay, save and post. All right, there we go. So I'm going to leave that up on the screen. To volunteer to help local veterans, contact, in case you're listening and not watching, Yates County Veteran Services. You can Google them and find it on the internet, or you can call 315-536-5196 or email veterans@yatescounty.org. So I know we've got some veterans that watch. I know we've got some folks that are interested in helping the community that watch and listen. So if you're able to give a day or two, go ahead and give a day or two and get in contact with Veteran Services.
They even put that on the ad, like once or twice a month is more than helpful.
So, yeah, that would be,
pretty cool.
It's not that much to ask. I mean, I know for people who are working full time, it might be tough to pick a weekday, but there might even be, I don't know all the details. There might be a need for weekends as well. I'm assuming that some of that stuff happens on weekends.
I think that's one of the main problems you run into is that it's mostly weekdays, and usually it's during people's work day.
Right.
The 8 to 5 is when the doctor appointments are going Monday through Friday. So,
but I know folks who, who are on disability, but that could volunteer here.
Yeah.
I know folks who are retired that might be interested in volunteering. I know people who have a little bit more flexibility in their work schedule that might be interested in volunteering. So if you're one of those people, if you're available, or if you're able to get away from your job one day a month, this would be something that you could do to help out.
I'm sure it wouldn't be. Sometimes it's just a trip to, just a 5 to 10 minute trip,
right.
It's not a super long trip. I think they do sometimes go far to like Geneva or something, but I think it's pretty close by.
Some of them, I don't know all the details, but I do know that, some of the trips are a little bit longer. Sometimes a lot of our specialists are going to be maybe Rochester.
Yeah.
I know the nearest VA maybe is in Canandaigua.
Bath.
Yeah, Canandaigua and Bath are about the same distance, right?
They're probably right around the same.
Yeah. So I think either one of them.
I know I hear about a lot of the guys going to the Bath VA. So that's one that always.
Well, especially probably from your area.
Yeah.
That's a little bit closer to Bath.
Yeah. But that's the crazy thing with their county is you can get some parts of it. You can be right up to Canandaigua. I don't think people know how far Yates County goes.
Oh yeah.
You can get where you're a 10-minute drive to Canandaigua.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. And you can get pretty close to Bath too.
And it's still about 15-minute drive, but yeah, kind of close. So.
And let's see, what was the other thing? Yeah. So that's not the only program that needs volunteers either. If you want something a little bit more exciting, I know that there has recently, and I'm assuming still, been a need for drivers for the ambulance company as well.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you're willing to do a little bit of training and learn how to drive an ambulance, you might even get to speed from time to time.
I think you can speed if you have the lights on, right?
So
I don't know how that
I
works.
think you got to run the lights and the sirens.
We'll have to ask.
I think you might be able to speed a little bit and get away with it. So if you want a little bit more adrenaline flowing, and you want to, again, you'd be able to help save some lives. That's a thing that you can do, and you don't have to be an EMT. You don't have to be a paramedic. Sometimes, they can, if in order for an ambulance to be able to go on a call, they have to have, like, I want to say 2 EMTs and a driver.
Yeah.
And so they have to have that driver. Maybe it's even 1 EMT. I'm not sure what the exact requirement is, but if they don't have that driver as part of the team, then it's like, sorry, we have to wait for a driver. And so if we can kind of help out with even that, if you don't want to do all the medical training, if you don't feel comfortable with being in charge of providing care for people, you can still be a big help just by driving.
And on your volunteer form, don't put "I'm just looking to speed." Probably I might glance over you.
I've got the need for speed.
You imagine that's how you get people to volunteer. It's like, how many speeding tickets do you have? Listen, this is your one opportunity, okay?
You'll be allowed to speed. You'll be allowed to speed.
Oh, God.
In very specific situations.
Talking about speeding, that's an interesting topic of when is fast too fast? It's like, I mean, how many times have you drove by a police officer and you're doing 10 miles per hour over and you're like, oh,
yeah, and then they don't care.
And then other times you'll be driving like 5 and you'll have a guy whip out and it's just like, I wish there was more of a standard. And like, I tried to ask a cop once and he's like, well, the speed limit's 55.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right. He's like, so how fast can I go? He's like, 55. Yeah, that's like where they get you.
Well, that's the speed limit.
Yeah, you got to go 55.
I use the cruise. Did you notice, by the way, that they changed the speed limit on 54? It's like a trap now.
When?
So, like, I don't know when, but very within the past couple weeks for sure. So when you go out of town south on 54 out of Penn
mm-hmm.
I'd heard a lot of complaints from the people right at the edge of town that they want it to be 40. For that little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there was all this resistance from the state to do it because it meets the requirements to be 55. Well, so sure enough, I'm driving out there and the speed limit is 50. So like right when you get to the edge of town, it's 50 until you get like past the golf course, and then it goes up to 55. But like that first bit is 50.
That's a huge speed trap area because when you're first coming into Penn as well, it goes to 35.
30. No, it goes right to 30.
Is it not? Why am I thinking it was like 35 then to 30 or something? Isn't there like a weird speed bump area? Maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to double check again and actually open my eyes and pay attention.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I could be off.
It's on the way from the college. It goes to 40 and then to 30.
Does it? Okay. Yeah, I can't remember. There's somewhere where I know it just gets all kinds of wonky.
Yeah.
And then there's certain parts where no one follows the rules.
50 miles an hour, though, is the most bullshit speed limit because it's like the only way that if you make the speed limit 50, you can guarantee that like everybody's going to speed because they're going to think that it's 55, even though they see 50. Like it's not low enough for people to actually even bother to lower their speed.
When you're going up by Soldiers and Sailors, where it's 30 and then it turns into 55. I don't think I've seen anybody drive 30 up there.
No.
Everyone drives 55.
Yeah.
That thing is just like a launch pad.
Yep.
People are gone. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. Cop must love sitting there.
Just
like, oh yeah, we're gonna nail at least 10 people today.
For sure.
And that's just in an hour.
Well, and that's the thing is that's where you see the police sit too. Is like they always sit right in those areas where it's like a speed limit that doesn't seem like it should be. It's like there's no way this should be 30, but it is.
When I was a kid, I was driving with what's the license you could only drive to work and school with?
Well, I don't know, like a restricted.
Yeah,
it's like the kids like the.
Yeah. Anyways,
like it was like an age limit. It's like if you're under 18 or something, you could only drive until 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like pretty strictly enforced.
Unless you were coming back from work.
Yeah. And I remember we were like coming back from a fair, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go really slow so I don't get in trouble. I got pulled over by a cop because I was doing like 49 in a 55 going past Lane's Yamaha. Like, he pulled me over. He's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, uh-huh. And he like checked my license and seen I was driving out of like whatever. And he's like, will you just do the speed limit? And I go, uh-huh. Yeah. And he goes, okay, have a good day. And like, he did not care. I just remember thinking like it was the end of the world. I was going to get caught driving.
He probably knew that he probably knew two things. He probably knew that you would just pay the fine.
Yeah.
Like a scared little kid. And he probably also knew that he didn't have probable cause to pull you over because going 5 miles under the speed limit is not.
It looks weird though. Like, but it's going not that slow.
It does look weird, but it's not reasonable suspicion. Like, it's not reasonable suspicion. You have to like either be speeding or be going way slow.
I've ran across some of those way slow people.
Oh yeah.
And it's always this like guy. He's like as close to the wheel as he can get, and he's got on this huge hat, like a fisherman's hat, and he's always driving as close as he can. And I'm like, okay, Grandpa, come on.
I saw a guy that I know driving. He always drives really slow between here and the college. He always drives really slow. But one day he was driving like 55, but he was driving on the shoulder all the way to the college.
Okay. Interesting.
Like, he wasn't in the lane.
The no lane, just.
He should not be driving.
He
should not be driving.
Is there a limit on age where you should have to retest? This is going to be a hot topic.
Should have to retest
for your license to drive.
No.
Just allow it.
You should just follow the rules. And if you can't follow the rules, I mean, you know how I am with rules, but like, there's certain rules that you need to be able to follow. And if you can't drive appropriately, then maybe we need to, like, if you've made a violation, then maybe we make you retest.
I was thinking like,
but not just because you're a certain age.
I was thinking like 80 might be a decent age.
Yeah, but I know people that are 40 that can't fucking drive.
Yeah, but it's not from health issues.
Right, but they still shouldn't be on the road.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's the thing, is like, can you drive or can't you drive? If you can't drive, then we should retest you.
Because the reason for being 16 is your mental cognitive functioning skills, right? They don't think you're mature enough mentally to.
I think it's arbitrary. I'm not even.
Yeah.
I can't even go there because I just don't. I think that's kind of.
When do you think you should be able to start driving?
When you're able to do it.
Like 10?
Like, proficiently. Like anything, you should just have to be proficient. And I don't know. I mean, in certain ways, you need to be able to do all the things that you would need to be able to do as a driver. So
can you
need to be proficient at driving, but you also need to, like, if you have an accident, you need to be able to handle that appropriately as well.
Can you see a 12-year-old girl all hopped up on Duncan and like 40 freaking Twizzlers driving a car late to school?
They used to do it.
Be a nightmare.
Like, there wasn't a minimum age. It used to be kids that were driving. Like, back when cars first came out, they'd like have kids drive all the time.
There's probably a lot of accidents back then.
Well, yeah, but they weren't moving very fast.
That's true.
So
yeah, it was fast to them though, which they're flying.
Oh yeah,
they're like, oh shit, I'm going fast.
You ever read The Great Gatsby?
No.
Dude, it's fucked up.
This fly is gonna die.
No, it's too fast. It's too agile.
He like fucks with me. He's like,
these flies are unbelievable. It's like, just the one fly, but it's like it moves too fast.
He's slowly, like, I can just feel like my anger bar just like slowly getting up over this fly. It's starting to piss me off. All right, yeah,
flies.
Read Great Gatsby. Did you have to read it because of college or high school?
High school.
Okay.
But there's a scene where somebody's driving drunk and just like hits this woman and tears her breast off.
Tears her breast off?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic.
What is that? Is that the 30s or 40s?
20s.
20s.
It's during Prohibition, so it's between.
Those cars probably move pretty good.
Yeah,
at least 40.
Yeah, probably 30 or 40. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, enough to be dangerous. Yeah.
Imagine the first person that got up to like 50 in a car. They must have thought they were like,
oh yeah,
seriously flying.
You know about Glenn Curtis?
Yeah, we've all been to the museum.
Fastest man on earth.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy that there's something like that in Hammondsport.
Do you ever see the videos of him riding that motorcycle?
I don't think I've seen like the pictures and stuff. I've never seen a video. Yeah,
it's pretty neat. Like he'd lay out straight on it instead of sitting on it.
What a wild man.
Yeah.
If you went to, did you guys go see it when you were in school?
No, it's too far. Like it wasn't even a thing for us.
Oh yeah, if you went to school around here, everyone's been there. Like went on a class trip. So I just used to love like is it a B-52 bomber that they painted with the like weird like shark face?
The one that's down there?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? I remember as a kid that I just loved. I was like, I want that plane. Yeah. Like that's like the biggest, coolest thing there. Like all the guys loved it. It just looked like, yeah, that's war. That's what we're here for.
So we've already talked on the show about how you don't like to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just, for anybody out there that's considering flying, I've found out recently that for like $8,000 to $10,000 over the course of a couple of years, you can become licensed as a pilot. You can get trained and like go through the whole thing to become licensed as a pilot for like, I used to think that was just an outrageous amount of money that like I'd never like, but $8,000 to $10,000.
If you were meant to fly, you'd have wings
over the course of a couple of years. That's like, it's not that bad. Like that's like $300 a month.
You could paraglide for free. You just jump from somewhere high.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, so you can also, you can fly an ultralight, which I've been very interested in. If I had a place that I could take off and land, you can fly an ultralight without a license at all.
What the hell's an ultralight?
So an ultralight, let me just make sure I get the numbers right, but it's essentially like it's any aircraft that it can only seat one person.
Okay.
It has a maximum capacity of 5 gallons of fuel. It has
how far are you going to get in 5 gallons?
Maximum speed of 55 miles per hour. And it can't weigh more than like maybe 256 pounds, I think.
$5 gallons isn't going to get you very far, is
it? No, and that's the point, I think. Like they want to really limit it. But oh, look, they increased the oh, that's Europe. In Europe, it can be 992 pounds.
1 or 2 seat fixed wing aircraft. Oh, one of those deals.
Yeah.
Okay. They have like a propeller, right?
But to do it without a license, it can only seat one person. Yeah, they can have a propeller. There's also a thing called an autogyro. Let's see what the United States requirement is. So United States ultralight is 254 pounds. That's off by 2. You can only fly during daylight hours, no license, 5 gallons of fuel. Can only go 55 knots. Okay, so that's 64 miles an hour.
Somebody fly by you with that thing? The thing is insane looking.
Oh yeah. May only be flown over unpopulated areas. And then light sport aircraft, you have to have a sport pilot certificate. And that can be up to 1,300 pounds or 1,430 for seaplanes. And you get a little bit more leeway there. The interesting thing that I found out with the ultralight is that if you make it amphibious, if you make it so that it can land on the water, the flotation part of it doesn't count toward the weight.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
But it can be part of the frame. So like you can basically, if you make it so it lands on water, you can cheat a little bit on the weight.
So you want to make one of those things?
I thought about it.
Why? I've seen people with those.
Because I want to fly.
The powered paragliders.
Yeah.
Like I watched a kid on YouTube that does it.
So that's also considered an ultralight as long as it seats one person. and fits all those requirements. The other thing that you can do that is that can count as an ultralight, anything can count as an ultralight as long as it meets those requirements. So the other thing that I've been really interested in is called an auto gyro.
Is it like an auto Euro maker?
Check this thing out. Video. Let's see. No, safest aircraft.
It's not safe.
17 minutes. No, let's go for the 4-minute version.
Dude, what is that thing? Yeah, it's safe because it only goes 5 feet in the air.
Let's go. He's just rolling down. Okay, let's get a little bit closer. All right. So the propeller that's up above is not powered. It's got a propeller behind that like pushes it forward, but the propeller on top that looks like it's powered, that just spins freely. But that's what lifts you.
Why do they call it the safest?
Because I don't know if they'll show it, but essentially if it loses power, it'll like the propeller will still keep spinning and just like you'll just slowly descend to Earth, like straight down. Like you won't go forward, but you'll just slowly land. Like that's how you land, is you stop going forward and it just
probably safer slowly than that crotch rocket.
Oh yeah, except for I wouldn't want to ride next to that. No. Get your freaking head taken off.
He doesn't have to get so close.
I think there's an auto gyro in one of the Bond movies. I think James Bond flies one in one of the Bond movies.
You'll have to put this link in the comments for people to watch this thing.
Just Google video of auto gyro and you'll find it. It's pretty neat. It's just like a little frame. The guy's sitting on it. It's got a propeller that looks like a helicopter propeller, but that's not powered. It's got another propeller behind it that pushes it forward, and that's the one that's under power. Jeez, he's dive bombing this freaking crotch rocket. Why does he keep dive bombing?
I don't know. This crotch rocket guy's like, okay. The thing is that crotch rocket could just lose that thing in a second. I'm sure.
Yeah, well, except for he has to follow the road.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. Is he gonna land? What are we doing here? Why is he just following? This is ridiculous.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was landing at that speed. I was like, this guy's insane. No, wild.
Are they not gonna show him land? They're not gonna show him land. He's finally done harassing this motorcycle. So that like you can do that without a license as long as it fits those criteria of being like less than 55 miles an hour, less than 5 gallons of fuel.
No thanks.
Less than 254 pounds. No license at all.
Oh my God. And I mean, it looked like a blast. I'm sure that guy was having the time of his life.
They can take off in a relatively short distance. And the neat thing would be that you could land. The thing is, you could land pretty much anywhere as long as you've got enough room for the propellers.
That's true.
But then the thing would be like wherever you land, being able to like get going again.
Because it looked like he had to like walk it to get it to speed.
They usually so I don't know about that one, but a lot of them I've seen, they just have like 2 wings on the propeller on the top one. So like they can go right in line with it. So it can actually be pretty narrow. And they can like, I saw this one guy cruising like down a path through the woods to get to an open field and then just like taking off in this field.
Huh.
It's pretty neat.
Interesting.
It's a pretty cool thing.
It was, so you should watch it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
if you guys want to see something interesting.
Check out one where they actually explain the function too, because it's just neat physics.
The one with the kid that does the one contraption there, the powered paraglider.
Yeah.
Like he'll just like take off from his farm and go to a McDonald's and stuff. It's just crazy to watch. Like,
yeah, you don't have to have any license or anything for that.
Just fly.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's insane.
But I don't know. I've still thought about just getting a pilot's license, be able to fly.
Yeah, but then
just think about like Irene's family out on, like, if I could get in with an airport out there and be able to like fly from here to Long Island?
You could get trained by my old waitress at the restaurant. That's what she does.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, jeez, I can't remember her name. You remember who she is, right? Her husband was a pilot as well.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
She had short red hair. I forget. It's like I keep wanting to say. Oh, it's like Dana. Remember? That's what it is.
Dana?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, you know somebody that can do it. So
yeah. Well, the Penyan
Dana
Flying Club or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Penyan Flying Club, you basically they say it could be $8,000 minimum, because you only have to fly. You have to do like your ground training, but then for the actual flight time, I think they rent the plane. They rent the plane and you pay the instructor, and you have to do like 40 hours of actual flight time. And the instructor is like $40 an hour, and the plane is like, I want to say like it's either 55 or like 155. No, I don't know her.
Yeah, she served here for like a year. Anyways, she's the one that does that in Penyan. She teaches people how to fly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have her number.
But you basically you pay for the instructor and you pay for the plane, and it includes the fuel. And and apparently you can pay like it's $600 a year or something to be part of the club, but you can pay like a 1-month fee, and then during that month you can fly like 2 lessons during that month where you actually are flying, and then if you change your mind, then you don't have to keep on with it. But if you go past that, then you pay the rest of the year fee.
No thanks, Phil.
No, you don't want to do it. So I don't know. Anybody wants to learn how to fly?
You and Phil can go fly together.
Yeah, we can fly together. Yeah. Come fly.
You guys with me. The second Top Gun movie comes out, and all of a sudden Phil wants to be a pilot.
Top Gun 3.
He's seen the guys on the beach.
We're getting ready for Top Gun.
He's like, that's got to be me.
Yep,
I got to do it.
I play volleyball shirtless all the time.
I'm meant to fly. So we might as well get to the point of our description, right?
Oh yeah.
Market time. We haven't even hit that.
We're most of the way in. Yep.
Yeah. So did you see what the government signed in about government trading?
Did they do something?
Just a little bit of something.
They did a
little something. Oh geez, I can't find it now.
I know they've been talking about it. I didn't know they actually did anything.
Yeah, there's like a bill that came up. I don't know if when it's
but Nancy Pelosi is like squashing it.
Yeah, but it's like it's big news right now. So
it would is it the one that would basically make it so that lawmakers couldn't directly trade stocks?
Yes,
it probably them and their family as well. It's interesting how well her husband does, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul.
I can't find it now. It was just an article I read, and they were saying that they're trying to jam Pelosi on stock trading ban. There it is. That's where it is. Yeah. I think that's what I was reading.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically it's well known that Pelosi and her husband always win on the stock market, and they never lose.
You were the one that told me about having a app that follows what her husband does.
Yeah.
Because he always wins in the stock market. Yeah. So.
And he just won a whole bunch on the chips bill that, he happened to make a purchase of, I want to say like NVIDIA or something.
Yeah, it was NVIDIA. And
I think it was NVIDIA.
Ton of money.
Like 20,000 shares of NVIDIA for
which was
it was over $100
a share at the point.
Yeah. And then at the time that we were talking about it, it was like $184 or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So all on the fact that he bought it, and probably also on the fact that they passed this chips bill, which is a massive corporate handout. I mean, it's like people bitch about people. I just can't get it. People bitch so much about um, big businesses, about billionaires wanting to have more taxes on the rich and things like that. And then they take this company that made like billions and billions of dollars last year, and they want to give like just that company like $20 billion. And out of, I want to say like, what did they end up passing for the CHIPS Act? I want to say it was like $78 billion.
And Nvidia is not an American company, or is it?
Well, so that's the tricky part, right? So Nvidia, like the concept of being an American company has kind of changed.
Right.
So like Nvidia,
it's where you do the majority of your production, right? That's your country.
So I believe they're based in America.
Yeah.
Like their owners are American, I believe. But then you've got, so like this isn't the thing that people don't know is that this is not the first time that we've given out major handouts to microchip manufacturers to try to keep them in the United States. And at the end of the day, this is extortion to try to keep, it's extortion from those manufacturers saying, well, if you give us billions of dollars, then we'll stay in America, and otherwise we'll probably go to China. And like there's a lot of problems with going to China right now, especially because, you know, I know we talked a little bit before, but their military budget is essentially paid for by the interest on our debt to China. And make no mistake, like we're not on the same side. I wish that we were, but they are not going to be friendly with us at the end of the day. The only reason they're probably still friendly to us right now is because we owe them so much money, and they think that we're good debt.
Oh, I think we are good debt.
So
they're like a good bookie, man. Just keep making them payments. Well, but the problem is the Chinese market right now is. Have you seen the Alibaba stock?
Going down, right?
It's bad.
Yeah, I think for the past couple months they've been having. I think partly like the same reason everybody else is down. And I know everybody says that it's because everybody has different reasons why they think it's down.
I think most people have the majority of the same reason, is that it's a recession with inflation, is what the main key point. Everyone, if you read any article, that's in the article somewhere.
But the cause of it, though, the cause of the recession,
right,
the cause of the inflation.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, we talk about the Fed, we talk about how they printed trillions of dollars,
way too much money,
since COVID has started, and that's a major issue. But that doesn't necessarily explain the downturn of economies throughout the world. And I think that it's a big part of why we're experiencing what we're experiencing here. But in addition to that, you got to look at things like the supply chain, and what's going on with like how hard it is to get ships like from port to port. You got to look at the Jones Act a little bit, which makes it so that only U.S. flagged ships can fly, or that can sail between multiple U.S. ports. And you've got to look at all the shutdowns, all the lockdowns.
Right.
I mean, you think that's not going to add up over time, but here it is. I mean, we've made it so that we've artificially limited supply. We've artificially limited everything for years now.
But and
you think that's not going to have an impact on inflation?
There's a huge spike in consumer spending. Like it was massive.
Well, there
was for a while, which was just like
because everybody had the money that was given to them.
It wasn't that much money,
and it wasn't real though.
I don't understand how, if you are people on that much on the edge of being middle income, that if you give them $1,200, they have a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Really?
Some of them are.
It's just crazy to think that $1,200 can be like, oh, I'm gonna buy a brand new TV. Like,
if you give most people $1,200, they're gonna spend it immediately.
It's just crazy to think like it's that much of a surplus for somebody to just. I put mine in the stock market.
Yeah.
That's what I did with mine. I was like, oh, I'll just throw it in there and let it play.
I think I'm pretty financially literate, but we're talking into mine.
What do you mean? Oh, right. Yeah.
This is my stimulus.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
We're sitting here talking into my stimulus.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I
just saw it as, look, I've still got my income.
Right.
So this is like cream cheese.
Right. And but everyone has that. But the thing is how all of a sudden everyone felt like they had a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, like, it just felt like to me is that bit of a surplus was like, oh,
well, they also got
spending money here.
The unemployment bonuses as well, because
those are
a lot
huge.
of people were forced into unemployment by the government, and then they were given,
I forgot about that,
like $600 a week,
more than they were ever making,
on top of what their unemployment was.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big deal, and that was a lot of the spending, I think.
I wish I got that.
That we all do. Yeah.
That would have been sweet.
That would,
I had to work.
For most people who were getting that, they were making more money.
Damn. Yeah.
Not working than they were working.
That's right. I forgot about that. That explains where, because the consumer purchases were just flying.
Yeah.
Like what people were spending money on was insane. And it's going to come back to bite some people here soon.
It is right now.
I have a feeling we're in trouble soon.
No, it is right now. It's happening. And some of the biggest victims, and I don't want to, like, victims isn't really the right word, but some of the people that are being impacted the most right now are actually the major corporations like Walmart, because people, when you order something, they have to have predicted that like 6 months ahead for you to be able to get it in 2 days.
To have it in stock.
Say you want these sunglasses today. They have to have stocked enough sunglasses for you to be able to buy those.
Right.
So they have to predict, okay, look, we're going to sell, 100 million pairs of sunglasses this year. Well, then all of a sudden it was like all the stuff that people wanted for inside their home, for not going out, like to make their home more comfortable. They're like, oh, well, we need to stock up on that. At first, there was a shortage.
Yeah.
And so everybody was buying it and there wasn't enough of it. And then
paper shortage.
They finally caught up and they were like, okay, well, we've got all this stuff. And then, they were allowed to go outside again. And so they were like, okay, well, now I don't need a bike anymore. Now I need this other thing. Like, I need to be able to have something for my car, whatever. I need a car now. So now we've got a shortage of cars. And now cars are through the roof, and chips for cars. And so all that stuff's through the roof.
Right.
And so, like, but you know what we've got a whole bunch of? All the shit that you need to be able to stay home is filling warehouses. Like all the stuff that people were ordering a lot of, finally, like, they caught up to manufacturing and people don't need it anymore.
Well, sounds like they're going to be lowering the prices and putting them on sale very soon.
They have been. Yeah. No, like Walmart doesn't have room for all the stuff that people liked during the pandemic.
I can't believe the deal you found on that smokeless thing at Aldi's.
Yeah.
What's that thing called?
So it's like a Solo stove.
That was a hell of a deal.
Except it's like the knockoff version.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for that price. That was way worth it.
They usually, for the size that I've got, they usually go for like $400, and I got it for $100.
Crazy. Yeah.
And all I had to do was wait a week.
You can just see that the demand is like dropping. The thing I'm worried about is people started overpaying for houses.
Yes.
Like way overpaying.
They're outrageous.
And
the average house in New York State is like $430,000 right now.
As soon as this recession hits. And here's the thing, overpaying makes your monthly payment high, but it does something that most people don't think about. It hurts your debt to like capital ratio, because now all of a sudden your house is worth $800,000, but you bought a $1.7 million house. So credit card companies look at this. So if you're trying to get a loan to help pay,
right,
some of you'll never get a credit card loan with that. And then
you're underwater,
if you lose your job, you're in trouble. But everyone knows that, obviously. The next part is your taxes. You just raise your taxes. Like, people think, oh no, your tax is done by assessed value.
right?
Yeah, your assessed value goes up with your purchase price.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden, you're putting yourself in another bracket of taxes where that house, they were paying $750,000, $800,000 a year. Now they're paying $1.5 million in value. It's crazy. The way some people put themselves in these things are nuts.
So I was looking up. I'm always looking at houses, and so in Yates County right now, let me filter this more.
I feel like that Sisson Road property's been there forever.
It's just an empty lot that's overpriced.
Yeah, just like always there every time you look.
Where's the price filter? Oh, there we go.
Price. I mean, look at that house, $285,000 for that.
So we're gonna say, look at the filter only goes down to 500,000 now. So let's say $250,000. So in Yates County right now, there are only, including like non-realtor listings.
Oh my Lord.
So agent listings, there's only 25 in Yates County. And there's only 9 non-agent listings in Yates County. So that's 34 total homes for sale under $250,000.
One's on the lake. Look at that.
This one?
Yeah.
That's on Seneca Lake.
Yeah. It's 672 square feet.
For 200,000. Yeah, look at it.
It's, do you see that door?
It's like a shed. Oh, it's not straight at all. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But
I would have left that picture out.
Look, they took a closer one. They're like, here, look at the door closer. I know you're going to want to see that up close.
Oh, no.
But, like, it's a shed with a toilet.
Yeah.
And look at the dock. Like, it's in rough shape. $200,000, but it's on the lake. So, whatever. A 4.9 acre lot for $150,000. It's not on the lake. It's got a view of the lake.
4.9. Will you click on that and see if it has like septic or well on it? It has to for that price.
Let's see. It has engineered septic plans.
Oh, plans that cost $2,500. And the
survey is completed. All corner pins in place and visible. Well with well report on file. So there is a well. And it gets 2.5 gallons per minute. At 106 feet deep.
That's good.
Do not wait for subdivision approval. This parcel exists as its own taxable parcel today. Yeah, so I mean, if you want to spend $150,000 to have something that doesn't have a house on it,
doesn't have a septic on it for that.
No septic and no house.
They're thinking that septic plans are worth that money.
Well, there's a reason that this has been listed for so long. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, their idea is that you're going to be into it for probably $350,000 or more. 400, maybe $400,000. To
build a house on that, you're talking $500,000 by the time you're all said and done.
Yeah, and it's not on the lake. So good luck,
pal. You can see it.
You can see it. You can see it.
You can see the water.
Fucking insane. Pardon my French, but
crazy.
That's insane.
It was crazy.
And then you go down, I think
a couple Barrington houses. Look at that.
Oh yeah. I think the best for its money right now.
That's not a bad house. That Middlesex one.
I think this one's probably the best deal for the money right now. $250,000. It's got a attached garage. It's got a nice little deck.
Oh, that deck doesn't look very safe though.
You don't think so?
Mm.
What doesn't look safe about it?
It's not supported out to the edge, which is never a good thing.
It's cantilever, isn't it?
Where?
Like, isn't it? And then into the house?
Yeah, but there's still that's not enough support out there. And those
it should go all the way out to
they should have had 6x6s instead of 4x4s. Those, that is not to code.
Oh no.
So, not good. Anyways, we can keep going down. It was built in 1974.
You got a little lake view there. You got a little lake view. You got it's nice deck. I don't know. It's a nice
house in the outside.
Yeah, nice looking house. It's $250,000, which is a lot of money.
That color of that deck is goddamn. ugly.
Yeah,
green.
it is what it is. I mean, it matches the ugly house, but like Lakeview, and it's like a 2-tiered property, so like up above you can see the lake too.
Look at that.
It's pretty neat.
Would you look at it?
Just look at it.
Interesting.
But it's like a half acre.
The people probably putting these listings are all of our friends that are in real estate. They're all like, "Thanks, guys. We appreciate it."
It's true. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think for bang for the buck, that's probably the best deal in Yates County today.
You think so? I thought the one above it was a better house. That one.
What, this one?
Yeah. That looks like a nice house.
Yeah, but no. Sturdy. I guess that has a lake view.
Nice sturdy
but
house.
It's not like near the lake.
Yeah, screw it. Who cares? Less mosquitoes.
It does look like a little bit nicer build.
Yeah, that looks like a nice. Look at the basement.
Look at concrete.
Yeah.
It's got a walkout. I mean, the other one has a walkout too, but the roof looks in better shape. Nice little circular drive or whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah, that's not a bad house.
That's a nice looking garage.
Yeah.
A little 2-car.
That one looks good to me, man.
Plus a workshop. Oh, look at that garage. That sells it for me.
Yeah.
I would like to have that garage. I just don't have a $250,000.
The interior's ugly.
A little.
Yeah. We're looking at stuff that no one can see. We're just commenting.
What could you do? You just maybe if you just change the color of the paint.
That entire thing. You know, what the hell's that kitchen nook? That is ugly.
I don't. What's this like?
Yeah.
Weird shaped counter.
That's a weird ass house, man.
And they've got I don't know, like looks like they got a dog, which is cool.
If you guys want to follow along, we're on Zillow.
Go on Zillow.
I don't know.
I hate carpet.
See, that's not a bad room.
I'm totally anti-carpet.
Yeah, but that's an alright room. Looks good. It's open.
Yeah,
that's nice.
You got a nice little lake view.
Yeah.
I'd definitely open those windows up a bit, or at least I don't know. Like I'd like to look at the lake more. You got to focus. If you got a lake view, you got to really capitalize on it.
Oh, you're going to get taxed more for having it, so might as well.
Right.
I've never understood a lake view. I just don't get it. If you want to see the lake, get in your goddamn car and go look at it.
Look at that basement.
It's a nice basement.
It's a nice basement.
It's big. Oh,
that's
Lord.
A nice.
I hate how people do that.
You think it's tall enough?
In the middle of their basements?
The jacks.
Spend the money and put something to support the center weight of your building.
You think
either
like
one huge pole in the center.
You think like a beam?
Like an I-beam. There should be a huge I-beam ran across.
They'd still have to support the I-beam though.
So the thing with an I-beam is if they ran it the other direction.
Yeah.
And they ran 3 of them. They would have been fine.
Fair enough.
But
then they'd have to do everything. They'd have to
the long span is you cannot do that. I mean, leave your basement open. People don't do that to it.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, they could probably couldn't they do like one concrete post here and just do?
That's what I was saying is either just one post in the middle or change your layout and run your I-beams the other direction to support the center floor. So
yeah, it's interesting. That's a pretty common design though, I think.
Well, the thing is your I-beams sit on your a lot of times when you have a basement like that is they sit onto the basement wall and into it. So so it's supporting all the weight there to the center.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't. They just like, I'll put these jacks here. This will look good. Oh, that's a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I guess. But still $250,000. The other one you can at least, I think you can get to the lake from there. This one you have to drive. But it is a nice view. It'd be nice to be able to sit out on the deck and look at the lake. But yeah, I mean, it's just like a severe, I don't know. I think it's a housing shortage, especially when you look at what stuff costs. Like this is, I think,
if you would have checked Zillow a year ago, Phil, none of these houses would be on this here now because they would have been sold.
It's true. It's true.
The fact that any of these houses are still on this is crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely this. It seems to me like the sales are going slower.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a year ago we had a conversation. There were only like 2 houses. So
even when you were first looking
in Penn Yan, there were only like 2 houses for sale.
When you were first looking, houses were flying. And when was that? That
I've been looking for as long as I've been here.
When we went and looked at the one house you went, that was like peak COVID, right?
Yeah. Was it COVID?
Just after?
Or was it before COVID?
Maybe it was just before, but those houses were flying then.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they were gone.
Yeah,
So.
I was gonna. Well, that one had land though.
Oh, that's a nice
the thing
house.
is, any place that had land and a house, gone. And so that one that we looked at had 17 acres.
Yeah, that sucker was.
So
the house wasn't good, but the land was.
Yeah,
and they wanted a lot of money.
The house was fine. It was just tiny.
Yeah, that's a small house, but it looks nice.
It's been on for 283 days.
There's got to be something wrong with it. That's got to be a shared community dock, right?
Yep, I think that's got to be it, right?
That would be gone.
If it's one of the cottages.
Yeah, I thought so. I was gonna say that sucker would be gone if it had its own dock like that.
It's like, are you even allowed to live in it, like year round?
No, I'm sure it's a seasonal thing.
Welcome to the cottages. The cottages at Plum Point.
Whoever started that made a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah. Well, look at all these. So the folks who built the apartment complex, what is that? What is it? That's up on the hill above Red Jacket.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember what it's called, but I think they sold all those like that for a lot of money. And what I heard was that like 80% of the people that bought them were senior citizens.
Really?
So the people who built that are currently trying to get exception to be able to build they're trying to get like an area rezoned out on Flat Street going north out of town to be able to build some senior housing over there. And it was originally not even going to be senior housing, but I think there's some incentives to do senior housing, and like mostly senior citizens bought up the housing that they had already. So they're like, yep, here we go. We're going to put in more because there's demand.
Hey, that's how you make money. No.
It is. I just, the thing I worry about here is that we're putting in senior housing. We've put in like certain housing, but I look at what's available on the housing market, and you look at there's like almost no rentals either.
None.
Like it's impossible to find something to live in here.
Our population
that's at a reasonable price.
Declining.
I think our population is been flat.
Now, is it? I think all the investors are buying houses and renting them.
Yes,
like so Airbnb houses and stuff. Which is crazy.
My understanding, and I could be off on this, but I believe that our like resident population has been pretty much flat at about 25,000. Our number of housing units in the county has gone up. I don't know if it's in the county or just in Penn, but it's gone up by like 500.
Okay.
But we've also got like
24,774.
There you go. So pretty close.
Yeah.
But then, so we've got 500 more housing units, but we've got like 500 more that are being used for short-term rentals.
Huh.
So, and that's over the past 20 years. So it's been pretty flat population-wise, but all of the new units have been taken up by short-term rentals rather than people that actually live here. And then it makes it so that, people like me, young professionals, I don't know if I'm still considered young, but
I don't know, because I'm trying to think, like, what do they say? Anybody under the age of 35, right?
Yeah, I'm not that. Yeah. So anyways, people like me and people who have, lower paying jobs are going to have a really hard time finding housing here.
Yep.
And that's
finding affordable housing.
But then that rolls downhill, because then you get businesses, and we look at our friends that are business owners, and I don't know about how your business is as far as staffing, but it's really hard to find staff. It's really hard to find people who need a job or who want to work here locally. And, when you look at what people get paid, then you balance it against what it costs to rent a house if you can find one.
Yeah.
Like, we're never going to fill all those jobs. And then all these senior citizens that are moving here because they think it's a beautiful place to be are going to suffer from, understaffed businesses. They're great businesses. We have some really awesome businesses here, but
compared to
they're
5
all
years
having
ago,
a hard time finding staff.
the difference in amenities in Penn is
it's outrageous.
You can't even come close to
even just the past 2 years.
5 years ago, Penn was known for having the closest McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, that's like why people came. And now it's like, oh, we have good restaurants and we have good bars, and I mean, it's just flying. So, and that's not a knock on other people's businesses, but truly, that's like people are like, oh, that's where the McDonald's is. Like,
right?
Yeah, it's like,
well, and it was
crazy to think about. So.
Yep, and that was like Dunkin' Donuts was the only place open.
Oh,
after
Dunkin'.
10.
There you go. Yeah, that was another one. Or Cam's Pizza, which is a local place, but you could go to Cam's at midnight and get a drunk slice. Like that was.
Yep.
Throw them in there too.
This was the closest place with bars.
Yeah.
For the college, at least.
No one ever said, "Hey, honey, let's get all dressed up and go out to eat in Penn."
Now they do.
That's sad to say.
Yeah, now they do.
And now they do.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool. And it's a cool balance too, because most of the places that are, not all, but most of the places that are at that level, you can feel pretty comfortable.
Either way, you can
coming as you are,
or look nice,
or you can say, let's have a nice night out at the 18th Amendment.
When I first opened the 18th, was the idea was, hey, you can feel like you can come here on your once a month date, or you could be a regular. You know, it's like fit in that mix. And I think Rose and Chet really hit on it with their new menu of,
oh my God,
you can go huge. I mean, you can spend a lot of money and eat awesome food and have it, or you can still have a burger at a decent price. And I think finding that in between is where you want people to be. Is you can have as good of a night or as quiet a night as you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you. So
now here's a good one for you. When the flower shop closed down, that was obviously the best sandwich place in town.
I never went there once.
You never went there?
I wish I did. They had great sandwiches.
Yeah. They had like their baked goods. They had their sandwiches. I used to always get them to make me something off menu. But they had on the menu, fancy. They had this on the menu for 6 months, and I loved it. And then they took it off the menu, and I'm like, what the hell? And they called it the Big Bad Wolf. And it was a panini with roast beef, cheddar, and a jalapeno cream cheese.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then they took it off the menu. But that was all I'd ever get there. So I'd walk in and be like, hey, can I get,
the Big Bad Wolf?
And they'd make it for me. So
that's awesome.
As long as they had the jalapeno cream cheese, they'd make it.
Yeah.
But so with that being gone, Friday, Panino's open, and I haven't been there yet. So I was thinking about maybe going today.
That'd be a good idea.
They, according to what I've read, they're open 7 days a week.
Wow.
They've been eagerly waiting a chance to open, and I don't know the people that own it. I've got no information on it. So this is not an endorsement, but it's filling a niche.
The bread looks good. That's always my thing.
You know what the bread is?
What's that?
It's from the Blue Heron.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So
the bread looks good.
The bread's going to be banging because it comes from our friends at the Blue Heron Bakery. Shout out to Todd, Kat, Ryan, all the other people.
All the other people.
I don't know everybody's names anymore. I used to, go in there a little bit more when I had more time.
Yeah, I don't ever venture in Penn. I feel like I'm missing out.
Oh, for sure. But anyway, I don't know. I think give them a chance. They're gonna have at least good bread and looks like pretty fresh food. So
that's something this town
a niche
has always needed. And I guess it was there. You said with the flower shop, but I've always said you're missing out on a good sandwich shop, somewhere where you can go get lunch, a great sandwich, and
Morgan's has some. You could get a giant sub there.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I used to go there and get them all the time. But there's so much bread.
Yeah.
That I'd have to tear out the inside of the bread. Because the thing that you go there and get a super Italian, and it's the meat is that thick on it.
Holy shit.
It's as big as your head. but then the bread, like the whole sandwich is like that thick because it's just like so you have to get rid of the bread.
I
You have
didn't
to get
know
rid of some of the
Morgan
bread.
said stuff like that. We had
Oh, yeah.
Wegman subs last night. Wegman subs are fantastic.
You can get a sub. You can get. They used to have this sandwich called, I think it was called the Hercules, and I always wanted it, but they only had it on certain days, and I'd always they got me so I liked it, and then they like kept changing it up so I could never get it anymore. So it was like a pot roast. It was like a hot pot roast sandwich with like mushrooms and cheese and gravy.
Sounds interesting.
And then it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Huh. Sweet. Well, hey guys, sorry we didn't talk much onto the market stuff, but I do got to get going. So.
Yeah, and wait, quick piece of entertainment. For the stock market. What are we doing? Right now, I am not doing a goddamn thing. I am waiting. I'm waiting it out.
Yeah, I was talking to some people. This isn't insider trading. Don't put me in jail. And they were saying that the recession doesn't hit until it won't hit until the fall, because the problem is all our stockbrokers are out in the Hamptons right now, partying it up, living it up. They don't come back and trade hard until they come back for the winter, fall.
Mm-hmm.
So right now everyone's just slow trade.
Yeah.
Just steady. As soon as all the big dogs come back from their vacation, it's gonna just hammer. And this comes from some people that have lived through a couple and know like how it works. So
I don't think they're right, and here's why. The average, so like every time that we've ever had a recession, it's been like, let's see. So the thing is, don't like freak out and sell your shit right now, because the average amount of time that like the stock market has downturned has been like, I want to say like 37 days. For every major recession that we've had, like from the Great Depression to now, the actual amount of time that the stock market was down before it was on its way back up, it's like a month and a half.
Yeah, but
or less.
We haven't hit the recession yet. It's gonna hit come October, so don't do any trades until this winter, till the downturn. Wait for the downturn.
Wait for the downturn. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I think it's already turned down. I think it's recovering now. So we'll have to wait and see. Like we got two different thoughts here. So it's
mine's not my thought.
It's either not down yet, or it's already been down, and it's okay. The average bear market lasts 289 days. So that's a bear market. Yeah. Anyways, I would say the worst thing to do is just sell your stuff when it's down.
Well, just don't sell, but don't,
because that's the only way that you're losing. Right?
I'm talking about investing.
You mean to throw money in?
Yeah. Don't.
So if you've got like
invest until it's fall, winter.
But don't sell your shit now either.
Who's selling? No one's gonna sell.
Don't sell low.
No one's gonna sell.
Right.
Unless if people you're selling, you're not doing it right.
That's the thing. People are selling, and the reason they're selling is because they're freaking out because they don't want to lose any more money.
Oh.
Right. They're like, people freak out when the stock market's down. They're like, I gotta sell so I can protect my money. But what they're doing is losing their money.
No, see, I'm talking just don't invest right now, because you're going to invest at what you think is a low, and it's going to go lower, and wait until you can get your maximum share here on your profits. So
let's compromise. So the thing is, you can't time the market.
Oh, you can time it.
You can't.
I'm timing it this time, Phil.
Listen, nobody's ever won by timing the market, but what you can do that, like, you won't maximize your gains as much as if you could perfectly time it, but you can make it so that you can get some pretty good gains with a little bit less risk, is say you've got $10,000 this year that you're going to invest. Take that $10,000 and invest $1,000 per month. And that way you're kind of like, you're going to get some of the stocks at the bottom, and you're going to get some of the stocks a little bit above the bottom, but you're going to have a little bit less chance of losing a lot, and you're going to have a little bit less chance of gaining, as much as you could if you could time it perfectly, but you're going to get somewhere in between. And I think that's the best stock trading tip I can give you is on your way in, split up your money and like break it into at least 4 installments and say, okay,
diversify is what
this
Phil's
week,
saying. He's
not,
trying to be.
I'm not even saying diversify. Say you're going to put it all into GE.
Yep.
Buy,
which is low right now.
And buy $1,000 worth of GE this week, buy $1,000 next week, buy $1,000 the week after, buy $1,000 the week after. And then like you've given yourself a chance to not suffer if it goes down quite as much, because some of it you will buy at that lower price, or if it's going up, you're not going to win quite as good, but you're going to give yourself a better chance. So the thing is to not invest it all on the same day.
Oh no, yeah, definitely don't buy all.
Spread out the time that you're investing it, so that over the course of the next month, the next 5 months, you break it up rather than trying to time it, because trying to time it is not a sure way to lose, but it's a pretty good way to lose. So the best thing is to do it over time. So that's my recommendation. I think it's a good compromise.
Yeah,
because maybe. I think it's like maybe I already hit the bottom. You think maybe it's going to be a couple months before it hits the bottom.
That just shows you the difference in how people trade. Like there's no for sure way. Yeah. I've had way more success not doing it the way Phil does and doing it where I try to find a lull in the market and go low and get in. And when I know there's going to be a bounce back, and I usually do well. I did well on Tesla because I pay attention to what's coming new and where it's sharing, and then hop on when I know it's going to go for a ride. And that's where I've cashed out.
And then I made a lot more on Tesla per share because I didn't cash out all at the same time. I didn't cash out at all.
Well, I bought in it. But I bought in it like nothing. But you sold it like $600.
Yeah.
So
but
I didn't hold on to the $1,300.
But it's split twice since then, and I still have it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's the thing is like you timed it, you like took some profits, but like you missed out on, like if you would have sold it like a quarter of it when you did, and then a quarter of it 2 weeks later, and then a quarter of it 2 weeks later, you would have made a lot more money.
Maybe, yeah. I'm sure I probably would have. Yeah. Now it is kind of back down in a lull. This is kind of like, should you get back in or should you not right now?
So when that advice that I gave, that non-advice, not financial advice, but that entertainment that I gave you about how to invest, that goes on the way in and on the way out. So if you want to, like, say you're going to break it into 4 installments, you got $4,000. Boom, $1,000 this week, $1,000 next week, $1,000 the week after, $1,000 the week after. And when you feel like it's time to get out, same thing. 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, so that you're spreading out the chance of having risk, right? You're having more of a chance to let it go up. You're having more of a chance for it to go down. You're moderating it a little bit so that you're getting basically the average of what it is over the course of the month, rather than trying to time it. Now, if you get, I don't know, like, because if you sell all of it, you might miss out on a chance for it to go up
a lot. Yeah, it could. Shit, look at Amazon.
So
anyway, sold Amazon at $500. They'd be not very happy with themselves today because you'd be a millionaire if you held on to your 500 shares of Amazon back in the day. So,
So,
I mean, it's crazy to think about what you can, if you play it right, you can change your life. Or you can, I think we brought this up, you can go broke.
You can go broke
if you play it wrong. So,
the more risk you take, the more chance you have of failure.
Yeah, it's gambling.
But it is 100% gambling. But the best way, like I said, is average your risk over time, so that you're not taking all of the risk at any one moment.
Or be an old retiree and put it in the S&P 500.
Yes, that's a good idea as well.
It'd be good.
All right, everybody. Don't forget your chance to help out your local community and volunteer, whether it's for one of the things we suggested today or whether it's for something else. And being our National Purple Heart Day, let's take care of our wounded warriors.
That's right.
And let's maybe consider volunteering for Yates County Veteran Services, and you can email them at veterans@yatescounty.org.
Good cause.
Good cause, and one day a month, 2 days a month can make a big difference for somebody. So, I gotta do this.
Yeah, outro. Don't Monday Night Football it.
Who's there? It's Rahr. Who's there? It's Rahr. Come fill your time, this pod's for all. From the Finger Lakes, join in the call. Learn something new about the Keuka Trail, upstate New York, every episode I tell. Who's there? It's Rahr. Who's there? It's Rahr. It's Rahr.